Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge Wildheimer, am I saying your name right?
You are. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Who is Brian Labus, L-A-B-U-S? Is that name ring a bell?
Brian Labus, if I am remembering,
Labus.
if I am remembering correctly, since I had 2 years in criminal, about 2,000 cases assigned to me, I believe he was the first human trafficker case we had in Montgomery County. Am I remembering that correctly, Senator?
Well, he was 25 years old. He was a nursing assistant.
Oh, that's a different case. I do recall that one. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
a nursing home. He sexually assaulted one of the patients. She had Alzheimer's. Do you remember how old she was?
I do not remember, but I do know she needed to be in a nursing home and was incapacitated.
She was 93 years old. He's 25. He gets her alone. She's got Alzheimer's, and he molests her. This meathead made bail, and because he's like a rock, only dumber, he immediately goes out and drives while smoking dope. He gets arrested. And he came before you for sentencing. Do you remember what sentence you gave him?
I do, and my recollection of the facts is slightly different. My recollection is his DUI arrest was after my sentencing, but regardless, you are correct, he had the DUI. This was a negotiated sentence in this case.
What sentence did you give him?
I do not recall the terms of the negotiation. I do remember it was a negotiated sentence, and I do have...
You gave him 11 months and 15 days, didn't you, for assaulting this woman?
If that is what your records show, I have no reason to disagree with that.
And he grinned, according to the news reports. Grinned at you. You remember that?
I do not recall that. I do have recollections of this case, and if I may, Senator, it is a case in which the Commonwealth had...
Yes, ma'am, but I've got to, I don't want you to take all my time telling me about the case, because I've looked at the case. For the DUI, after this meathead assaults a 93-year-old Alzheimer's patient, you gave him 11 months and 15 days. For the DUI case, you gave him 3 days to 6 months.
Senator, the DUI was not in front of me. I was out of the criminal division by then, and I believe that went to a judge that took my cases when I was transferred to the civil division.
Ms. Perry, tell me the difference between res judicata and collateral estoppel.
Collateral estoppel is also known as issue preclusion. Res judicata is also known as claim preclusion. In issue preclusion, the question is whether the parties have previously litigated to their merits and finality the same issue, in which case they would not be allowed to relitigate the issue. In claim preclusion, the question is similar, whether the parties have litigated to finality on the merits claims, and they would not be allowed to relitigate those.
Okay. Tell me the legal meaning of present sense impression.
Present sense impression is an exception to the hearsay rule. And in present sense exception cases, it's the general idea behind the exception is that a person is unlikely to lie if they are simply giving their present recollection of exactly what is occurring as it is occurring. And therefore, those statements are allowed to be used in evidence, even though they are, by definition, hearsay.
Very good. Tell me, what is, we all pay taxes on income. I know you do because the FBI checked. They do a thorough background check. And I do too. What is income?
Well, the IRS regulations are extremely complex when it comes to
what is income?
Describing income, but basically it is anything of value that you receive throughout the year. So it could be gratuities, it could be wages.
Well, what if I'm asking you how you go about analyzing this. Let's suppose I go buy let's suppose Senator Durbin starts a new company and he takes it public, and I decide to buy some stock because I believe in Dick Durbin, and I buy it at 10, and it goes to 20, and I'm feeling all warm and toasty, but I don't sell it. I want to just because I think it's going to go to 30 because I believe in Senator Durbin. Can government tax me even though I haven't sold it?
I am by no means a tax expert, and I would like no one to rely upon this tax advice. My understanding is that would be an unrealized capital gain, and you would be taxed upon it at the time that it is realized. But again, I am not a tax law expert.
Why is that? I mean, what's the basis for that?
Why am I not a tax law expert?
What's the basis for that?
I believe the basis for that is that those are somewhat imaginary gains that can rise or fall as the market rises or falls, and so they tax you upon it at the time that you actually realize that interest.
Okay. Gentlemen, I'm sorry I'm out of time. I didn't get to ask you questions, but good luck to you.
Thank you, Senator. Judge Weilheimer, do you want to explain the sentencing in that case?
Thank you, Senator. When we have cases in which there is a guilty plea, in a case like the Labus case, which I do have a specific recollection of, I would often ask for a sidebar and ask for a justification for me accepting the negotiated guilty plea. There have been times that I have rejected negotiated guilty pleas. In that case, there were evidentiary insufficiencies on behalf of the Commonwealth. And when that occurs, it is important for me to make sure that the crime is recognized, and the effect on the victim is recognized, even if it might not be to the same extent as if someone would have been found guilty after a jury and the sentencing would have been exclusively up to me. This at least brings closure to the victim's family, and it brings closure, a recognition of the crime. And for that reason, in this case, I accepted the negotiated guilty plea.
Thank you. And I want to thank all the members of the panel. Quick logistical